It's okay. There you go. That's why you buy cheap sunglasses. That's much better. Holy guacamole! Do I love the warm, fuzzy feeling of nostalgia? And one of the main goals of this whole experiment that I've decided to do is to pass on that warm, fuzzy feeling whether you like it or not. Or whether you've played the game or not.
And you're gonna get those warm, fuzzy feelings even if I have to shove them down your throats.
No, we're not gonna do that. Calm down. You see, I understand that most of the people that stumble across my videos are from all different walks of life and age groups and all that stuff. Ages. And that's very important that I preface that for this particular video today. So, for most of you who are unaware of this, Blizzard Entertainment used to be really, really awesome. They're responsible for producing most of the video games that filled my childhood with video games. And, believe it or not, they never used to be a raging dumpster fire. Blizzard, along with several other companies, used to love making games so much that when they made an expansion to a game, it was basically an entirely independent experience unto itself. Enter the Frozen Throne. So join me as we take a trip back to 2003. Holy shit, this game's 20 years old. No, this is not a review. Go away. Go away. I promise I'm gonna get to that game eventually at some point because dinosaurs are awesome. I'm just a guy with fond memories. Okay, listen up. Before we go any further, I'm only going to be covering the primary 3 campaigns of this game, not the Rexar campaign, because it's a bonus campaign. And back when I first played this game, it wasn't even done. You had to wait and download the rest of it. It has 3 acts. I have beat it since then. But I'm not going to talk about that. We're only talking about the first 3. I'll do it later. I promise. Months have passed since the defeat of the Burning Legion at the end of the Reign of Chaos original game of Warcraft 3, and this entire expansion basically covers up all those loose ends. And not only sets up the world of Warcraft, which is a new game that's coming out soon because this is 2003, and it also sets up the first 2 expansions for said game, without us realizing it at the time.
In truth, it was I who was betrayed.
Illidan has returned from exile and is proving to everyone why his last name is Stormrage. He's really mad and he found a bunch of serpent folk sleeping at the bottom of the ocean. So, naturally, he decides to wake them up and use them as tools for his vengeance. Nothing bad ever happens from employing dark magic and waking up beings that have been slumbering at the bottom of the ocean for thousands of years. Illidan is so f***ing awesome. V, you said the fuck word. It beeped, but there's no good boy. Where's the good boy? He's fine, Tim. He's just taking a break. Okay, good. This is Maiev Shadowsong. She's the new hero unit for the Night Elves. All the races have new hero units, along with other various new units. She's a warden, and she's basically a ninja. Fun fact, this is Debbie Mae West, the voice actress for Maiev Shadowsong. She is also the voice actress for Lady Tsunade in Naruto, the English dub. She's really mad that Illidan has escaped her grasp and is in hot pursuit. Oh, that feels good. Maiev shows up just as Illidan escapes on a boat, but leaves behind one of his most loyalist of loyal Serpentine boys to defend his escape. He's dead now.
Ah! Father, a necessary sacrifice to complete one's grand design.
The next level is the obligatory "this is how Night Elves work" level. So it teaches you all their basics, which is a little weird because I'm guessing they assume you've played Reign of Chaos, because the Night Elves are probably the most complicated of the races to grasp. They're also my favorite. There's a side mission you can choose to do where you help this old orc hermit by silencing the ghosts that haunt him on a daily basis. Literally, when you're done, he tells you his tale. Spoiler alert, he was an asshole. Once again, you miss Illidan by mere moments, and he has left more of his strongest of the strong serpentine minions to guard his descent into the temple. So naturally, I kill every single one of them because they're in my way. Now this is a dungeon crawl level I can definitely get behind. It has all kinds of neat hidden things like,
This is the first time you get to hear from one of my favorite characters in this entire franchise. Gul'dan, Darkness Incarnate.
can I finish?
Yes. And f*** you.
As I was trying to say earlier before I got distracted, the coolest thing about this mission is exploring all the neat little nooks and crannies of this map using Maiev's flying Raijin jutsu. Even though Tsunade can't do that. Along the way, you discover a lot of Gul'dan's graffiti that he left behind that explains that he was looking for a vastly powerful demonic artifact in this tomb called the Eye of Sargeras. This is called the Tomb of Sargeras, by the way. Sargeras is basically the big evil big bad of the WoW universe, and
This isn't a lore video, Tim.
stop it.
Get back to it.
Sorry.
I just really like this game.
I'm gonna turn the volume down on the television. It's too loud. You find out that the Naga were once Night Elf Highborn that were cast into the sea along with their queen Ajara nearly...
What the fuck did I just say?
That is part of the game, V. Shut up. Unfortunately, you're unable to stop Illidan before he gets the evil space goat's eyeball. For what I only assume is nefarious purposes.
Now, Tim, don't assume that.
He has all kinds of sneaky snake schemes going on. He could use it for something that would benefit the entire planet. They get trapped, but luckily Maiev's powers will allow her to escape. So she agrees to warn Malfurion Stormrage and leave her sisters for dead. This mission can be very, very difficult if you haven't upgraded your blink all the way. I feel like there's an inside joke that the developers constantly put in these games when it comes to the runners. Because this is the second example now of a runner who is very slow. In this mission, you have to escort said runner to the coast and get her in a boat so she can go see Malfurion Stormrage and warn him of his brother's treachery, while also maintaining a base. Challenging, but fun. The runner finally arrives to warn them, and Malfurion agrees to go help capture his brother, but Tyrande Whisperin wishes to go too because she feels guilty for letting him out in the first place. And she should. It is actually her fault. By the way, before I forget, there was this neat little tidbit where you might be wondering, how does Illidan even know the artifact is there? Well, if you think about it, from ROC, remember how he absorbed the power of Gul'dan's skull? And Gul'dan was leaving all the stuff in the cave, in the temple? I hate you. I really like this game a lot. The Archdruid and the commander of the Sentinels both arrive on the broken shore to aid Maiev, and wow. They're actually still level 10. I wasn't expecting that. You meet up with Maiev, and no, they don't get along. Originally, I was going to make some kind of sassy catfight joke, but There's no joke to be made. Tyrande literally let him out and killed all of Maev's wardens to do so. She is in the wrong. I would make Tyrande go capture Illidan and not do anything. Once you smash Illidan's army of Deep Ones, he flees across the sea to the Eastern Kingdoms, to the fallen kingdom of Lordaeron. Upon arriving, Malfurion's hippie instincts kick in and tell him that there is something very wrong with the land, and that he must heal it, leaving Tyrande and Maiev to get along and assist what's left of the Alliance, led by Prince Kael'thas Sunstrider. Kael'thas is another new hero, the humans' new hero, the Blood Mage. I really hope we get to try him out later. This is just a run-of-the-mill escort the caravan before it explodes mission. It doesn't actually explode, but get attacked until the explode. You get what I'm saying. At the very end, it's got a fork in the road. Long, safe path, or short, not safe path. Long, safe path. You reach the village, you get ambushed, and that ambush quickly turns into a tidal wave of the dead. And their only hope of escape is if Tyrande stands on the bridge and channels the power of the goddess of the moon, Elune.
We must hurry to save her. That current will take her straight into the heart of the Undead lands.
No, Kael. Tyrande is a soldier. She knew the risks she took.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that because she's right. I agree? Huh. F you, Tim. F you, too. It cuts to Malfurion in the woods talking to the spirits, who show him that Illidan is in fact doing evil deeds with that artifact. He's trying to kickstart this whole global warming thing and melt the polar ice cap, which in this world's called Northrend. Which, no. All you need to know in this game is it's called Northrend, and it is this world's Antarctica. He meets up with Maiev at her base and breaks the news to him. And then introduces him to Kael'thas. This mission's a bitch. It's timed. It's filled with deep ones. You gotta level his base. Illidan's running around betraying everyone. And to top everything off, these 4 summoners can only be damaged by magic attacks because they themselves are ethereal. Now, I like to use the fairy dragons for this by clearing everything out first because the fairy dragons do this cool thing where they turn into an egg. I don't remember what any of this is called, but they have a form where they land on the ground and they just do damage to things. Yeah, and that's honestly the best way to deal with these 4 snake ladies, or just use a bunch of chimeras after you've already leveled most of the base. This mission's a task. The trio capture Illidan and nearly put him to death on the spot. Until...
Because of you, Tyrande is dead.
What? Your pardon, Lord Stormrage, but the priestess may still be alive. She was swept downriver, but it's premature to simply
Silence,
assume
Kael.
This hippie gets really, really mad and tells Maiev to f*** off. And then the brothers Stormrage unite for a common goal. The final mission of the Night Elf campaign is yet another type that's introduced in this expansion, controlling multiple bases at the same time. Not only that, but you get to control Illidan and the Naga. He's running on water, Tim. Oh my god. Once the brothers reach Tyrande, the 2 lovers embrace. And his brother, Malfurion, allows Illidan to live. But he swears if he ever sees his face again. But of course, Maiev can't just let that go and follows him through the portal. To where, you ask? Why, to set up the Burning Crusade expansion, of course. Speaking of setting up things for the Burning Crusade expansion, it's time to play the Alliance. Well, looky there. It's Prince Kellogg's cereal. And we begin by getting yelled at by our superior, Grand Marshal Garithos. It's perfectly okay to hate this man in every way, shape possible. because he is in fact an asshole and literally a racist. But don't you worry your pretty little heads. He gets exactly what he deserves by the end of this game. He tasks you with repairing 3 observatories so they can keep an eye on those pesky undead that are marching through Silver Pine Forest. But you can just repair one of them and you can't get to the other 2 because all the boats are dead.
Have no fear, Tim. Lady Vosh and the Naga are here.
I bet this is going to come back to bite me in the ass later. Why is that, Tim?
The observatories have been repaired as you requested. We were just about
I
to...
received ill news from the front line. Is it true that you've consorted with the vile Naga?
Because my superior is a racist piece of shit. And he's so racist, in fact, that he takes everything away that's not a blood elf. And says, okay, go beat those undead. Make sure you hold them off there, buckaroo. I'm just going to take all your stuff. F*** you. So you know what? I'm going to side with the Naga. That'll teach him. I'm going to smash all those undead bases and retake this area and prove to you once and for all that fish people and blood elves are just as capable.
So, Kay, you've shown your true colors at last. I knew you were in league with those serpents.
He is way too happy to be doing that.
Oh,
Goodness gracious. Also, just before this happened, Vosh explains to Kale that they're basically the same, the Naga and the Blood Elves, with their addiction to magic. To put it simply, magic in the Warcraft universe is basically crack. It allows you to do all kinds of crazy shit when you're hopped up on it. But the withdrawals are f***ing terrible. Imagine that you've been addicted to crack for thousands of years, and then all of a sudden your magic fountain gets turned off because a dead man revives himself in it. Now you don't have any crack. And you haven't just been doing it for a year, you've been doing it for thousands of years. Holy shit! Lady Vosh busts Kale out of his prison cell, and together they set about the dungeons of Dalaran to free their compatriots.
Tim, what's going on?
Secret tower defense level? It's pretty fun. You travel to Outland in order to find Illidan, who has currently been captured by the 5th Okage. Damn it. This mission is another new mission that's pretty fucking neato. It's basically tug of war. You only control the heroes, and there are 2 bases on the map. Those bases constantly reproduce reinforcements in order to battle in the middle where the cage is. In order for you to get the cage, you have to have more forces there than they do. And if you beat that secret tower defense level, you get a panda. A Kung Fu panda. You free Illidan, and he explains that since he's a demon now, he can just provide Kael'thas with all the crack he needs. And all the Blood Elves graciously accept, because they're all going through withdrawals. Kil'jaeden has tasked Illidan with destroying his now renegade creation, the Lich King. But we know how all this goes down because the second expansion to World of Warcraft is called Wrath of the Lich King, and Illidan failed that task, so that's why he fled to Outland. The first order of business is to make sure anyone who would snitch on us is dead. And unfortunately, there is such a being currently ruling Outland, and his name is Magtheridon, a pit lord that... Reforged is so fucking stupid. Why am I saying that randomly? Because he's not supposed to be in his demon form. It's like the... Magtheridon is summoning demons through the same portals that Ner'zhul, the current Lich King, that's a story for a whole other fucking time. He's using those portals to summon in a bunch of demons. Those portals are the reason Outland looks like a blown up planet, and you need to close them. This mission is very long. Possibly the longest I've ever played. Sure, it'd probably go by faster if I didn't go out of my way to murder all these orcs, but where's the fun in that? This is Warcraft, not let's do everything in our power to ensure the least amount of casualties, Craft. Once the portals are sealed, you're free to assault the Black Citadel. And this level's pretty long too, but we can't rush it. We gotta take our time. Also, Akama and the Draenei have arrived to assist you, which is important. Your entire fighting force is split into two, one on each side of the fortress. The Naga can swim, so they've snuck in through the sewers to the right. Akama and all the Draenei are invisible, so you use them to slip past their defenses and destroy all their big guns. And then you're free to use Illidan and Kael'thas's forces to everything else up. Eventually, you're able to link the two forces together and use them to defeat these two demon lords who have keys to the main entrance. And then you storm the entrance to kill this fat demon centaur and claim Outland for yourself.
Uh-oh. The big red space goat found you, idiot.
I thought Illidan was your boy. He's the one getting caught. Meanwhile, back in Lordaeron, these three dreadlords that you will come to know, and I will probably forget their names, are standing around discussing what to do with all these smelly undead they're left controlling. Meanwhile, being eavesdropped by Sylvanas Windrunner and Kel'Thuzad, he who shits in fountains. Arthas busts down the door and says, "Hey, idiots! This is my kingdom now! I'm no longer Prince Arthas, I am King Arthas!" And what does the new king do to secure his kingdom and consolidate his power?
To snuff out the last remnants of resistance and slay all those that are living and raise them to serve once.
Arthas will slowly be losing his levels as this campaign progresses, while you also have another hero, Sylvanas, who will be gaining levels, as they normally do. Once you murder all the stragglers, Sylvanas skulks off in the night to have a meeting with the evil devil Power Rangers. And they just all agree they all hate Arthas. And then Arthas is just strolling through the streets with his loyal companion Kel'Thuzad when they get cut off and separated, and then the dreads of Lord try to Game of Thrones his ass. For you see, in this weakened state, they can gain control of a lot of his soldiers because the Lich King ain't talking to all of them anymore. I forgot to mention that. That's why Sylvanas was able to do that. She can't hear the Lich King's voice in her head anymore. And there's a lot of other undead that also can't. Perhaps setting up another faction for World of Warcraft. This is just a dungeon crawl level, and the map is very long. Literally. Arthas has another brain damage in the middle of the woods at the worst possible time, because he gets shot by Sylvanas and betrayed. Then Kel'Thuzad shows up with comically oversized skeletal mages, and she f***s off into the woods. Kel'Thuzad wants to accompany his new king on his journey to Northrend, but Arthas says no. You must remain here and be the final raid boss for Vanilla WoW. And now, the Undead campaign is going to jump back and forth between Arthas and Sylvanas, because they need to both set up a future expansion, Wrath of the Lich King, and establish a new playable race for World of Warcraft, the Forsaken. First, we're going to play as Sylvanas in the Plaguelands. She gets met by the Red Devil Ranger and is given an offer which she refuses. You only get banshees, statues, and ghouls. And it's a good idea to use those banshees to possess better units.
Once you smash your way to victory, the Red One sells out his other brothers because he doesn't want to die.
His name is Varamothras. Arthas has just arrived in Northrend, and it's time to learn how to use the Undead's new hero unit, the Crypt Lord. He's a chunky boy. Then you get boats and you clear out these elves to set up your base camp. Arthas has another brain hemorrhage and loses yet more of his power. So naturally, this is the perfect time to go kill this giant f***-off dragon. Now, since we know Illidan has a head start, we need to take a shortcut through an ancient underground spider kingdom. You know, Tim, Lovecraftian horrors don't just live under the sea.
This should be fun.
It's time for a stealth mission back in Lordaeron. And by stealth mission, I mean you get 8 minutes to murder everybody while they're sleeping.
By killing the green one at the end of the level, you lift the spell he was using to control the Tim, it's this ass face.
Don't worry, V. He's really, really stupid. And he actually thinks we're gonna take the capital back and just give it to him. Oh, we're gonna give it to him. But first we gotta take that capital from Balthazar. Final boss time. The time has come to retake the once vibrant capital city of Lordaeron, called Capital City. Once again, you control 2 different bases and must attack it from 2 fronts. You can't use dwarves or any ranged enemy. This is the first time this has happened. I forgot I wrote that.
Tim, enough is enough. Get it together.
You can't use any dwarves until you save them with racist-ass McPoopnose. Naturally, I make that a priority because all I have right now from the start is foot soldiers and knights. Once that mission is accomplished, I switch over to Sylvanas and take care of that orange undead base so that I can better prepare for the final assault. And then I prepare for the final assault.
The purple one never stood a chance. And just to make him prove his loyalty, Sylvanas makes the red one kill his brother. And then they kill Garithos. Thank God.
Now it's time for a 3-part dungeon crawl. Part 1. Kill all these dwarves you left here to die the first time you came to Northrend, in Reign of Chaos. They came into this cave and tried to survive in the frozen north. And they talk about waking something scary up. I'm sure that's nothing. Part 2. Enter the fallen spider kingdom and kill... Excuse me?
See? Old God.
I suppose they use this to set up for Encourage in Vanilla WoW. Part 3. Get your shit wrecked because you get separated from your big beetle friend. And Arthas is only level 3. And all these traps and mind flayers are scary. Arthas final boss time. Ow. Arthas has one final seizure, dropping him to level 1, as the Lich King gives him all the powers he can spare to allow him to level back up to 10. Okay. In order to get to the Lich King, you have to capture and hold all 4 of these obelisks. I'm going to level with you. It's real hard. Don't worry, I did try it without cheats. It's just that try didn't last very long. But with a solid game plan and determination, I take those 4 big rocks and open the gate to the Lich King. And there, at the entrance, I face Illidan's Stormrage in a kind of cheesy but pretty neat cutscene at the time. And after that's done, I ascend to my rightful throne and sit frozen in that chair until Wrath of the Lich King. In conclusion, I really like this game. A whole lot. It defines me. I have most of the things that I had and do most of the hobbies that I do because of this game and Reign of Chaos. Anyway, thanks for watching me gush over one of my favorite games ever. Even though it got a terrible remake. But you know what game didn't get a terrible remake?